G'day everybody, my name is Jack and essentially I own Leatherman Crunch and I find this to be one of the best kind of multi-tools that I've ever had. I've had a fair few and essentially I haven't seen any reviews where people have had something like this for over a year, so they could really give some in-deep kind of things that they like and dislike about the tool. So hopefully you guys will like the setup that I have and it might give you some good ideas for the future. But yeah, here it is. So, Crunch, after 1 year of daily use. I've taken this through Central Africa, mainly in the country of Malawi. I do a lot of work there as an archaeologist. I also work full-time as a carpenter and a maintenance guy for a university. But I use this thing all the damn time. So, essentially, when it comes to the pouch, I carry a mini mag light in one side, and I also have a space pen on the other side. I find it quite useful to have those two tools. Yeah, it essentially makes it more of a multi-purpose tool. Got my Crunch obviously. In the back as well, also have a selection of bits, mainly security bits that are used, so different Allen keys and different star bits. Everything else is pretty much in the tool itself, so I don't have to really worry about anything else. So when it comes to the Crunch, after 1 year of use, this thing is going strong, has absolutely had zero problems with it. It doesn't get loose or tight, it's just been staying fine. I think I've given it a little bit of WD-40, but it really hasn't been much. The care I've given this has been pretty minimal, but I still really like it. So when it comes to actual things that I don't like about this tool, essentially it just comes to really small features which you can deal with. It's not like it's a big issue, but it's when you're trying to use it as general pliers, they stick a little bit because they are vice grips. So when you get a hold of something, sometimes it vice grips on it when you're halfway through holding something awkward and you don't want it to do that, but you know what? It's what it's made for. A way to get around that is to over tighten it, so when you close it, it won't lock in with the vice grip feature of it. So that's a little way around it. But essentially, everything has been fantastic about this. This is hands down the best tool I've ever had. One of the big things I really like about it is the fact that when you're actually using the pliers, you've got the meat of the tool on the outside. Most Leatherman tools, you actually have the void on the outside. So when you're actually squeezing quite hard because you're in a tricky situation, it doesn't hurt your hands anywhere near as much. Now, one thing I personally don't like about this tool is the fact that it's got a serrated edge. Now, I find the serrated edge kind of a pain in the butt, personally. The size of it's fine. Where it's placed is kind of annoying because you've got to open it up to get the blade out all the time, but realistically, it's a first world problem. If you need a knife that quick, then carry a spare one on you. I just don't like serrated edges. I find that serrated edges are a pain to actually sharpen. Yes, they have a long life on them, but sharpening a blade isn't very hard if it's a flat edge blade. But other than that, that's probably my biggest issue. I really wish I had a can opener, truth to tell, because I travel through Central Africa a lot. I find that can openers are very useful. Also, I'm an engineer in the Australian military, and can openers are very useful in there as well. But just for camping, all kinds of stuff, there's a lot of cans in the United States, so if you're camping, you'll find that a can opener is useful, but it just doesn't have it. So in that sense, it's not as multi-purpose as I'd like it to be, but it's still very good as a maintenance kind of handy tool to have. Realistically, if you don't have a can opener, you can get around it. You know, you're going camping, you can carry a $2 can opener. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can get around these things. It'd be nice if it was perfect, sure, but is anything ever really perfect, right? But realistically, the Phillips head screwdriver has done everything for me. I could carry a couple different sizes of the Phillips head bits on my little bit kit that I carry inside my pouch, but I don't need to because the Phillips head screwdriver on this is good. I don't find that it's in any way awkward. Like when I'm using the piece, like it's all pretty solid. Like, you know, it's good. It really is good. For those of you who don't know, if you're looking at this for the first time, the bolt here to change the size of the vice grips, if you unscrew that, then you can get your bit out from your bit kit, slot it in, and it holds it. Pretty basic, great, very useful. I did have a bit extender on there, but I just never used it. Actually, I have my pouch where I have a nut driver in there. So I've got the same size nut driver that fits these bits, and I have a few more bits in my pack for things that are a little bit more uncommon, or if it's hard to reach, then I can use my nut driver. But realistically, this is a really great all-around tool. Like it really is fantastic. I highly recommend it. I've had several different Leathermans beforehand, and this is the only one that I use. It's smaller than your standard Leatherman, so your normal Leathermans nowadays are a bit bigger and heavier, so I like the fact that it's more compact and a bit lighter. Has this little knob that stamps out. Can't really get around that due to the compactness of the actual Leatherman tool. To have the vice grips, it needs to have this as part of the levering action for the vice grip, so you just can't get around it. They could make it a lot bigger and you wouldn't have this knob come out, or they could have it small with the knob coming out. I'd prefer it to be smaller and lighter, so I'm okay with that coming out, but it doesn't ever affect the pouch. So when I have it in the pouch and I drop it in, it has a little gap in the bottom where this pokes out. It's never come undone, it's never dropped off. Sometimes I have to readjust it. It's never really at its perfect length, so it's how I want it every time, but it changes every time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But all in all, I just can't get over how solid of a tool this is. It reminds me of the more old school Leathermans that were more dependable in my opinion. They're just, you know, really nice and basic. But, you know, other people in the shop have Leathermans that I work in, and they have tools they'll never use. I was joking about one of them today. I was like, when the hell are you ever going to use a canvas sewer? Do you even know how to sew canvas, for starters? No, of course he's not going to use it. It's ridiculous. He doesn't need that in a Leatherman. So essentially, this is great in the fact that it's simplistic. It's very easy to deck it out with a lot more tools. And plus, with the Maglite and the pen, in all honesty, having these three, well, four if you include the bits, having these four things in this tiny pouch gets me out of so many situations that is unbelievable. What else is actually reduced a lot of the tools that I have to carry around. So if you find that you're carrying a lot of tools around and they're just all little things like screwdrivers, Allen key set, you know, the shifting grips, I've lost words. Anyway, caffeine's wearing off. I need more caffeine. If you find that you're carrying a lot of the little small hand tools to just hold things and you don't really need them that often, then you'll probably find this will actually get a lot of your kit locked up in storage because you just don't need it. A lot of the times I carry this when I'm looking at a job for the first time, especially if it's a maintenance job where they just need something fixed up. I'll carry this and I'll have my bag with a tiny little measuring tape in it, and my nut driver with a few extra bits, and that's it. Honest to God, I get out of most situations and can fix things mostly on hand with very minimal tools, and it's generally all because of this. Like, it really does make life much easier. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say. If you've got any questions, then feel free to comment. If you think this video was terrible, then suck a dick, but you know, whatever, don't really care. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, ta-ta.